Hello and welcome to this WordPress tutorial on Cadence navigations. So today we're underneath the Cadence main tab in the navigation sub tab. And in this example, we've got four navigations on this demo website. We've got one for main navigation, one for the mobile side of things, and two for the footer. If we look at the front end, this is what the main navigation looks like. You can see there's two sub tabs and two main tabs. So the two sub tabs live under about, and these are the footer ones. But in this demo, we're focused primarily with main navigation. So let's click into that. We are going to then click on the document overview. This is the very first thing I always do is have that handy so that I can see how things are arranged. So as you can see, this is reflecting what we have on the front end, what we showed earlier. If I click on an individual tab, this is what I'm presented with: a bunch of different options, alignment tools. I'm presented with the labeling. So if I wanted to say homepage, I can easily rename it there. I can disable the link if I want to make it just a dummy link. I can have it open in a new tab. I can put the URL that, pretty much wherever I want it to go. Let's just say google.com. And do other things. So description, not necessary, but just pointing that out. There's sub menu options, and we're not going to cover it here, but there's the ability to create what's called a mega navigation. So instead of a simple run of the mill plain sub nav, you can actually create something more expansive that can do things like show a blog feed, show a video, etc. But we're not going to cover that here. But just kind of walking through some of the other options, you can tailor the specific styles for this tab. But if you want to do it more global, you'll want to click on navigation and click on the style tab, and all the various options for it are here. So if you wanted to change the normal tab, and then I wanted to make the hover red, you can kind of preview what that looks like already. And then the active tab is when you're actually sitting on the page you've clicked on. That's that tab right there. And you just kind of save that, but you've got to be clicked on this navigation advanced. Otherwise, if you're clicked on a sub tab, you might accidentally just customize for an individual tab, as you can see I just did there. Let's just do something more apparent like red, but you can see I can affect an individual tab. But you might be wondering, well, why isn't the whole thing updating? That's because you're not here. So I'm not going to go into all the options, but I will point out, if you're on an individual tab, you will see this, so you can kind of go back up a level and go back, as you can see, on the main navigation. And all the various options for styling are here, including spacing tools and that sort of thing. But won't go too in depth on that. All right, so kind of the next piece is how to add a sub navigation. The simplest way is to click on a tab, let's say the home page, and we are going to click on this guy right here, which is a sub menu. So once I click that, you notice that happens, and you can start searching for pages. So let's say the about, and if it lives on your site, it'll show up here, and we can click that and it will show up. Again, you can come back here and do more edits, including changing the label. If you decide that you don't want this to link to that page, you want to link somewhere else, you can literally just click edit and then just kind of update it, wherever you want it to go, and have it open a new tab and save it. So you can do something like that. If you want to then also add subtabs on the fly, the simplest way is just to continue adding tabs and then dragging them in. As you can see, I'm dragging and dropping. And then you can just click on here, and then let's say we want the blog. You can just kind of search. Well, I don't think we have a blog in the site. Move the contact page, just add that. And that's pretty much how to do that. And as you saw, I can drag and drop these up and down however I want, which is very handy. And then let's just kind of see what it looks like so far on the front end. You can see those are my changes. Very simple, and very handy to have this here, as mentioned before. But pretty much that's the basics of how to kind of manage this. You got your global options, and then you can kind of dig into individual options for styling and links, etc. So that is kind of the basics covering cadence navigations. There's, of course, a whole lot more, which we'll be covering in future videos. But for the time being, let me know what you think. I would appreciate a like or a comment, or ultimately a subscribe would be the best thing you could do. But I appreciate your time, and we'll see you on the next video.